Have you ever felt like someone you had a strong connection with just disappeared from your life? Maybe they stopped responding or the initial intensity faded, but the curious thing is that you keep thinking about that person while they seem to have vanished into thin air. Now imagine for a moment that there is a way to reverse that, a subtle but incredibly powerful way to keep that person's presence alive without sending messages, playing mind games, or chasing anyone. Maybe this sounds too good to be true, but I assure you that it is entirely possible. And the best part is that it doesn't require complicated techniques or long rituals. With just a few minutes a day, you can start applying what I'm going to teach you. And if you do it right, you'll notice that person starting to think about you naturally, almost as if they couldn't avoid it. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the law of attraction in a more advanced way, a way that few people know about, but that yields real results. If you feel this is the answer you've been searching for, stay with me, because what's coming could change the way you understand human connections. There's something that very few people understand about attraction and relationships. They think sending more messages, being more present, or even playing small games to catch someone's attention is the key. But have you noticed that the more you try to be present, the more that person seems to pull away? This happens because there is a subtle but crucial difference between attracting someone and keeping that connection alive. Most people focus solely on the first part, attracting. However, what truly creates a lasting essence in someone's mind is what comes next. Today, we're not talking about superficial attraction or temporary conquest techniques. We're talking about something deeper, something that touches the energetic and emotional level. When the law of attraction is applied correctly, it not only helps you attract, but also allows you to remain in the mind and heart of someone without forcing anything. And the best part is that these techniques are not only powerful, but also simple. You can apply them in just a few minutes a day and start noticing results almost immediately. Think of it as a way to plant a seed in that person's mind, but without pressuring it to grow. It's more like watering it with just the right amount of energy and letting it develop naturally. If you've ever felt frustrated because things seemed to be going well and then suddenly everything changed, this video is for you. What you learned today could make a big difference in how you understand relationships and the power you have to influence them without manipulation or emotional burnout. Let's put it in context. Have you ever started talking to someone? Everything seems to be going great, and then suddenly the interest starts fading? At first, there's excitement, constant messages, meaningful looks. But little by little, that person responds less frequently, conversations lose intensity, and eventually, you feel like you're putting much more effort into the relationship than you're getting back. Most people at that point panic and start asking themselves what they did wrong or why the other person isn't interested anymore. Instead of stopping, they intensify their efforts, more messages, more calls, more attempts to connect. But this only has the opposite effect. The more you chase, the more it seems that person pulls away. Why does this happen? Because, without realizing it, you're projecting an energy of neediness, and neediness carries a low vibration. It's like sending a subtle but clear signal that you're looking for something you're lacking, and the other person, consciously or unconsciously, feels that energy and pulls away. The real question you should ask yourself is not, how can I make this person notice me more? But how can I make this person unable to get me out of their head without doing anything physically? The answer lies in one word, presence, but not physical presence. We're talking about energetic presence, the inexplicable feeling that even if you haven't seen or spoken to someone in days or weeks, their image still appears in your mind. This happens because, on a subconscious level, some people learn how to keep their energy vibrating in tune with that of others effortlessly. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do. Before we dive into the specific techniques, I want you to understand something crucial. The problem is not you or what you've done. The problem is the strategy. Until now, you've been operating from a place of external effort. What we're going to do is shift the balance inward, into a space where your energy becomes the magnetic force that draws that person back, without you having to chase them. From here, we'll dive deeper into the specific techniques. Get ready, because what's coming is the real secret, not only to attract, but to stay in the mind of whoever you desire. Most people think that visualization only works in one way. They imagine what they want as if they already have it. Visualizing receiving messages, going on dates, having meaningful conversations. But what few know is that there's an even more powerful technique that takes visualization to the next level: reverse visualization. Instead of imagining what you want to happen to you, you're going to visualize the experience from the other person's perspective. How does this work? It's simple but impactful. First, find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, instead of seeing yourself receiving attention, imagine the other person in their space. Visualize their day, the activities they're doing. Next, start integrating your presence into that scene, but not as an external observer. Imagine that you are that person. Feel what they feel. Look through their eyes and experience your thoughts, then introduce your image into their mind. Perhaps they're checking their phone and suddenly feel an inexplicable urge to search for you or remember a conversation you had. This type of visualization creates a subtle yet powerful effect. By doing it this way, you are sending out a vibration that resonates in the other person's mind, almost as if it were their own idea. The interesting thing is that, with no resistance, the energy flows effortlessly. The secret here is consistency. You don't need to do this for hours. 5 to 10 minutes a day is enough. What's important is that you do it with clarity and conviction, without expecting immediate results. The reason this technique works so well is that you're accessing that person's frequency. By visualizing from their perspective, your energy intertwines with theirs, creating a subconscious connection. It's like planting a seed that over time begins to sprout without you forcing anything. Start practicing this tonight. Remember, the less attached you are to the result, the more powerful the effect will be. This is just the first technique, and as we move forward, the pieces will begin to fall into place. The next technique takes this concept even further by using something many people underestimate: the power of silence. If there's something that attracts instant and lasting attention, it's space. Although it may seem contradictory, stepping back can be much more effective than constantly trying to move forward. Space and silence have a magnetic quality that very few people know how to use to their advantage. When you stop being constantly available, something interesting happens. The other person's mind begins to notice your absence. It's like when you stop listening to a song you used to hear every day. Suddenly, you're surprised to find yourself singing it again without realizing it. The brain is designed to fill in gaps. When you withdraw, that person begins to wonder why they haven't heard from you. It is in this space that curiosity, and more importantly, desire, grows. But here's the key. The silence must come from a place of confidence, not insecurity. It's not about stopping messaging while anxiously waiting for a response. It's about stopping the pursuit, because you know your energy is already doing the work. After applying the inverse visualization, allow space to do its part. Avoid the temptation to break the silence with an unnecessary message or a sign of impatience. Remember, less is more. Absence generates presence. A powerful trick is to use moments when you would normally reach out to instead focus on yourself. Use that time for your own projects, hobbies, or personal growth. The energy you invest in yourself automatically reflects outward and is perceived by others. Think about this. How many times has someone stopped pursuing you, and suddenly you started thinking more about them? That same principle is working in your favor when you apply the power of silence. Silence also communicates something valuable, that your energy is special. By not giving it away constantly, it becomes something the other person begins to desire. The next time you feel the urge to send a message or make contact, stop and breathe. Ask yourself, does this action come from confidence or from fear of losing? If the answer is fear, save your energy. Remember, your power is in the vibration you maintain, not in the words you say. Space is the soil where emotions grow. Give it the necessary time for desire to flourish. And while this space expands, let's move on to the next technique, one that focuses on sending vibrations in a direct and conscious way. The emission of frequencies. Now that you've started practicing inverse visualization and learned to use silence as an attraction tool, it's time to add an even more powerful layer to this process. The emission of frequencies. While it might sound mystical, this is actually a basic principle of the law of attraction. Everything you think and feel emits an energetic signal. This signal travels through subtle vibrations that, although invisible, have a direct impact on the reality you experience. But here's the catch. Most people emit frequencies from a place of lack or desperation. They constantly think about what they're missing, what isn't happening, or the fear of losing that person. As a result, they reinforce that very lack. What we're going to do now is reverse that pattern. Instead of emitting from a place of absence, you'll learn to send vibrations of gratitude and connection, as if what you desire is already a reality. This exercise is simple, but incredibly effective. Before going to sleep, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to mentally send thoughts of appreciation and love to the person you have in mind, not from a place of desire or need for them to reach out, but from a vibration of calm and gratitude. Imagine that this person already feels a deep connection with you. Visualize them thinking of you, feeling happy and at peace with your presence in their life. Feel that emotion as if it is already happening here and now. What's important is not controlling when or how it will happen, but staying consistent in that frequency. When you do this, you are building an energetic bridge between you and the other person. You might ask yourself, does this really work? The answer is yes. When you send high-frequency vibrations, people start to feel your energy unconsciously. They may not understand why, but suddenly they begin to think about you and feel your presence, even when you're not around. Don't underestimate the power of this exercise. By practicing it consistently, you will notice that your interactions with that person begin to change. It could be an unexpected message, a casual reunion, or a different reaction in their responses. This is when you realize that true attraction happens first at the energy level and then reflects in the physical world. Now that you've learned to send frequencies, the next step is to integrate all of this into your daily life with small practices that reinforce your magnetism. Let's move on to these quick and practical techniques that will keep you on that person's mind constantly. By now you understand the importance of visualizing from the other person's perspective, creating space through silence, and emitting high-frequency vibrations. But what can you do during the day to keep that energy alive without falling into impatience or anxiety? This is where small daily practices come into play, which, although simple, have a powerful cumulative effect. The key lies in consistency and maintaining a relaxed mindset, almost detached from the result. The first exercise is the repetition of silent affirmations throughout the day. Every time you think about that person, mentally repeat a phrase like, "I am a positive presence in their life, and they think of me with joy." It's not about forcing thoughts, but about anchoring your energy in a vibration of certainty. Do this while walking, working, or even while doing everyday tasks. Affirmations act as subtle reminders to your subconscious, aligning with the reality you wish to manifest. Another powerful exercise is the use of paper and intention. Write that person's name on a piece of paper, and underneath their name, write a brief phrase reflecting the connection you want to strengthen, like, "Our relationship is harmonious and flowing. We are naturally connected." Place this paper in a special spot, like under your pillow or inside a book you use frequently. Every time you see it, feel it as a silent affirmation of what you are attracting. Additionally, during the day, try quick visualization. Close your eyes for a few seconds and imagine a short but vivid scene. That person smiling when seeing your name on their phone, or recalling a moment you shared. Don't extend it beyond a minute. The goal is to keep the energy light and consistent. Finally, something as simple as sending good wishes mentally every time you think of that person can generate unexpected results. Imagine sending them a wave of light and well-being. This reinforces the connection without interference from negative thoughts or doubts. The best part of these practices is that they can be effortlessly integrated into your daily routine. They don't require extra time or long rituals. They are small adjustments that, over time, create such a strong energetic field that the other person begins to feel it even without knowing why. With these techniques, you are building a constant flow of attraction. Now let's connect everything in a powerful closing that reinforces the impact of what you've learned and prepares you for real results. By now, you may already be feeling a change. Maybe you've realized that attraction isn't about chasing, but about becoming a natural magnet. Everything we've explored, from inverse visualization to the power of space and silence, the emission of frequencies and daily practices, all point in the same direction: to be the source of energy that attracts, not the one who seeks. When you change your focus from, "How do I get them to chase me?" to, "How do I become someone who can't be ignored?" everything begins to transform. You're no longer operating from lack, but from abundance. The other person begins to perceive it, even without knowing why. It's as if suddenly your energy becomes brighter, harder to ignore. But I want you to remember something very important. This is not manipulation. It's not about forcing someone to think of you or controlling their decisions. It's about aligning with a vibration so strong and authentic that the other person naturally feels your presence in a way that feels good to them. Every time you feel yourself slipping into patterns of neediness or doubt, come back to these techniques. Breathe and remember. The most powerful attraction happens when you become the most confident and fulfilled version of yourself. At this point, you're not just attracting that person. You're attracting experiences, relationships, and moments that reflect the energy you've cultivated inside. Now, to conclude, let's summarize everything you've learned, and I'll give you a final invitation to take this knowledge to an even deeper level in your daily life. Everything you've learned today is an invitation to look at relationships from a different place. Instead of striving to be seen, you become someone who cannot be ignored. Let's recap quickly. Inverse visualization. Put yourself in the other person's perspective and visualize you're the one who appears in their mind. The power of space and silence. Allow absence to create presence, letting desire grow in that void. Emission of frequencies. Send vibrations of gratitude and connection, as if what you want is already a reality. Quick daily practices. Use affirmations, writing, and brief visualizations throughout the day to reinforce your energy. If you integrate these techniques with consistency and detachment, you will begin to notice that connections flow more easily, not because you're forcing anything, but because your energy has changed. Now I want to leave you with a question. Are you ready to become the source of attraction in your life? If so, start today. Apply these practices, observe the results, and share your experience in the comments. And remember, attraction isn't about convincing anyone. It's about being someone who shines from within.